Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about phloem and xylem. So phloem and xylem are just two different types of tube that transport substances throughout plants. So let's start off by looking at phloem. Now all I'm going to do here is draw a diagram of a phloem tube. So what I'm showing here is it's made of lots of different cells which are joined end to end. So these cells are actually living cells. Now between each cell we have these little end walls. So here we go, they are end walls, and within the end walls there are little pores. So these little holes here are called pores that allow substances to travel through. So we've got lots of living cells laid end to end like this. Now what's the point of the phloem? The whole purpose of the phloem is to transport food substances for the plant, and that is normally in the form of sucrose. The way I remember this is the first sound from phloem, transporting food. Phloem, food. So as we can see, the little end walls, the end pores, allow the food to transport through the holes like this. Now phloem is involved in the movement of these food substances. The name of the process is called translocation. So translocation can either transport substances down or up. So when the plant photosynthesizes, it makes the food in the leaves. When it's first made, it's in the form of glucose, but when it's transported, it's in the form of sucrose. So then we could transport, by using translocation, we could either transport that up the plant, if it needs to go up, or down the plant, because it might need these food substances for storage or growth in a particular area. And this process requires energy. This process of translocation requires energy. So see how we can transport substances both up and down. Now, this is a little bit different from the other type of tube we need to know about, called a Xylem tube. Now, Xylem tubes, again, there are lots of different cells laid end to end, but the difference is, well, there's a few differences. First of all, Xylem cells are not living cells. They are dead cells. If we look at the phloem tubes, you can see that they all have end walls. If you look at the xylem, we could see that there are no end walls at all. So it's essentially a long hollow tube made of lots of dead cells laid end to end. So there's several here. I can see 3 different ones I've shown here, okay? Now, rather than transporting food, xylem transport water only. But within the water, there are mineral ions which are dissolved within the water. Now, unlike phloem tubes that can transport substances both up and down, xylem only transfer water up. The way I always think about xylem is like a straw just sucking up in one direction. Now, if we have a look at our plant here, water is absorbed in the roots, so the xylem vessels transport water up from the roots to the rest of the plant. Can be, for example, to get it to the leaves where water is needed for photosynthesis. Now, it's a similar word to translocation, but this process is called transpiration. And there's another video I've done just about this process that you could watch. Now, the final thing we need to know before we just move on to our summary is the walls of this xylem are strengthened by something called lignin. So lignin is a substance which just strengthens these walls and allow it to operate as it does. Now, what I've done next is I've just put together a table that will help us kind of summarize the phloem and xylem. So first of all, the phloem, what does it carry? Well, it carries food in the form of sucrose. Is it living or dead? Phloem is living. Which direction can it transport substances? Both, so up and down. What's the name of the process? It's translocation. And does it have end walls? Yes. So conversely, if we were to look at xylem, what does it carry? Water and mineral ions, which are dissolved within the water. Is it living or dead cells? Dead cells. Direction. Now, remember, the xylem only transports the water up, like a straw. The process is transpiration. And finally, does it have any end walls? The answer is no. So that, guys, is a nice summary of phloem and xylem. Thank you.